Oh, typical. So after all of that casting, YouTube, you consistently change things. So, to get you abreast of what we've just been talking about, the race sessions that we're going to be witnessing tonight are going to be very different to what we were seeing during Barcelona. Manley then gave us a very good, in-depth, detailed track guide of how to drive around this Red Bull Ring circuit in the Austrian mountains, and speculated that this is a very different challenge to what we've seen from some of our previous track, Barcelona, where we were out in the sun. Today we are under heavy cloud up here in the Austrian mountains, and the challenge for the Spanish pair who dominated last week is going to be, can they repeat that performance, and can they make it 2 in a row, despite the conditions being completely different to what they were last time out.
Yeah, exactly. And good evening to everyone.
Yeah, good evening everyone. My name is Eike Sky, and YouTube is being the absolutely best thing it always is.
Yeah,
oh, man.
I can fully agree. So why don't we go with Sean Purcell on board for a commentated lap? So
perfect.
Yeah, going down the straight, what used to be a runway, we are looking for the left 100-meter board to start braking into turn 1 close to apex on the inside and go flat to the outside, nearly clipping the sausage, then a full throttle going uphill to turn 3. This is now a DRS straight in Formula 1, but it's not in Assetto Corsa. So late braking here as the gravity helps, going a bit wider than what you're used to be because of a huge camber change and slope, going to the highest section of the track on the back straight, open by the DRS, and the downhill tricky braking into turn 4, I believe it is.
Yep.
Maximize the exit on this one, then go to the right, full throttle. We're waiting for the 50-meter board to downshift into 4th, maybe 3rd gear, close to apex on both sides, and Sean Purcell is being caught out by commentator's curse once again. Well, the first one was not streamed, but...
Yep, it's still consistent. Ake running around in second at the moment, coming down that same section where Purcell just ran wide.
Yes, and the sector 3 begins with a long left-hander, then a right-hander, maximize the exit, full throttle. Then we're waiting for the 50-meter board to break into 4th, go over the curb on the inside and go flat outside. Second one, also maximize the track width, open the DRS, and you will see yourself finishing the lap of Red Bull Ring, which is located in southern Austria. Currently with heavy clouds, with a lower track temperature and air temperature, so quite an opposite of what we saw in Barcelona. Let's see if we can challenge Spanish drivers, as I believe they're towing each other.
Are they?
Oh no.
Fernandez at the moment, no. Ake is doing a fantastic job to get himself up to second. Fernandez is maintaining his position at the top of the timetables for the time being, but only a 10th behind is Ake. And then Purcell comes across to the line as we put the camera on him for his opening. Yes. Oh no, there we go. Has dropped down to 5th, it seems. Wow. So no. Just to the drivers, the ticker not updating quite correctly. So Toro Grossa in 4th position, not terrible for the one of the winners from last week.
Yeah, well, he's now going across onto the main straight. Let's see if he can improve. Looks very fast, very neat out of the last corner, and
he goes faster.
18.1, but it is faster. I expected the gaps to be narrower since we are running on a shorter track. and he looks to be stopping. I guess it's one last run.
Yep, we got 3 minutes on the clock. Well, 4 minutes just about.
Let's see Daniel Fernandez, purple sector 2, currently at 10th up on his best. Can he even improve further? It's a 17.7, yeah.
Wow.
And meanwhile, Mustafa Ake seems to improve to 17.9, so these are the only two drivers that are going below 118. I'm trying to find someone with a good lap time to improve, but it seems that everyone is holding back for these final few minutes of this qualifying session, which will then lead us into a half-an-hour race. So let's jump on board with Team Einterma going into Sector 3. Very good run. Let's go into the last corner. Seems okay, could have been a bit better, but it looks like he's improving on his P6, and he's 118.366, just 3/100ths of a second behind Ben Blakemore for P5. That's a very, very tight gap, so I hope he can improve.
Absolutely. That
and
last...
Alex Torregrossa, oh no, sorry, he's on an outlap.
Yeah, so that last corner that Torregrossa is actually coming up to now, how much of an impact is that going to make during this race? There is a significant amount of tarmac on the outside of that corner. It doesn't necessarily improve your lap time per se, but if you miss that apex, it basically gives you a free pass for what could have been a much worse accident, doesn't it, really?
Well, you can put it that way, but also don't forget that there is a sausage curb waiting for you, and it will not let you back on track quite easily, which means you have to slow the car and have a late turn-in into the last corner, which will perhaps cause issues. So better staying slow on track than going fast outside the track.
And there we go.
Speaking of those two corners. But those are the two corners that maximize the downforce of these cars, and I always tell this, I'm never stopping to be amazed about the downforce these cars have compared to their power. So once you're fully comfortable with the car, you would not believe how many corners you can actually take flat out. And this is what's left on drivers to find out and start. Oh, there's a spin of Dennis into the last corner, nearly compromising the fast lap of Alex Torregrossa. He's coming across the line and improves to P3, 118.059. That's only 5/100ths of a second above Sean Purcell. So gaps are becoming really tight, and this is what you would expect on such a short track. Yeah. Daniel Fernandez on an outlap soon will start his flying lap to see if he can improve. And this is also the last lap for Alex Torregrossa. Currently seems to be matching his best lap time, so he has 3/10 to find compared to his teammate of and compatriot as well. And what we've heard in at the ending of the last stream, also a real life friend. And this is a truly great aspect of sim racing, may I tell you this.
Yes. So, looking at the pit straight, the timer ticks down. There's no one on the start-finish straight. Let me find out which car. It was one of the yellow
there's
cars.
Sean Purcell going across the line currently. 118.097 confirms his P4, and Jonathan Watts is improving by 3/10 currently, going into Sector 3. Yep. Meanwhile, we have Alex Torregrossa into P2.
Yep.
Oh, and
Watts.
John Watts. Yeah, this is the curb I was talking about, so that's a P8 for him.
Yep. That's
and
unfortunate.
Mustafa Ake also making a mistake and abandoning his lap. So Daniel Fernandez is a pole sitter for sure.
Yep.
Let's just see if he wants to improve his best lap time. Otherwise, it's game over for everyone.
Still going for it. He's obviously happy with whatever lap he was on. And across the line does not go any faster.
And does not gain a position either.
With that session complete, we will jump to the first position is going to be Daniel Fernandez in that 29 car. Alex Torregrossa will sit alongside his teammate once again for second, but much closer than what we saw last time out is Mustafa Ake and Sean Purcell. Both the 7 and 8 cars of Ben Blakemore as well together. So obviously some teamwork going on there. Tim Eintemer will take 6th, Dennis will take 7th, Jonathan Watts will take 8th, 9th will be Dennis Junzik, Saab will take 10th position, 11th will be Clive Allen, 12th will be Sam Butters, Mislav Bargo will take 13th, Cass Beenders in 14th, and 15th will be Julian Vries, and Kit 462 will come up the rear. An interesting grid. I'm very intrigued to what Mustafa is going to do into the first corner, and Sean Purcell as well. Ideally positioned, really, to be able to make progress up on the 2 Spaniards, especially if he gets if he gets a good start. He's on the inside line, ready to pounce on those leading 2.
Yeah, this is one of the rare tracks where an odd position is actually starting on the outside, but it's more rubbered. I'm not sure how is it simulated, but the even position cars, which means P2, P4, have a good chance of plowing in their way and gaining a position. But let's now focus on the start. We have 5 red lights and off we go into Austrian Grand Prix. Glenn Blakemore has an amazing start, but doesn't have anywhere to go. Oh, that's a 3 wide, nearly going into turn 1. Mustafa Ake going a bit wide, but there is at the front Alex Torregrossa going wide, actually side by side with his teammate Daniel Fernandez. Let's see if anyone will go.
Yeah, 3 wide behind them.
Oh, that's a spin,
no.
That's a crash. No, that's Alex Torregrossa off the road, spun, and looks like to be just ahead of Sar, I believe.
Yes, by the looks of things.
And not a very good start, but that was his teammate. So let's cut back to Mustafa Ake, currently challenged and
just lost the position. Yep.
Yeah, it's Ben Blakemore, I believe, who is on an uprise. So that would be a P2 from P5 on the grid, which is a very, very good start. So let's see if he can bring us any more attention. I'm sure he can.
And much more.
Let's not forget that Daniel Fernandez has an ace up his sleeve.
Yes, and much more interesting is Jonathan Watts from 8th on the grid is up to 4th, past Sean Purcell, who started in 4th. So that's a fantastic.
We have a car wide there. That was Sar, I believe.
Oh dear.
Yeah, but
yeah.
He has rejoined. So Sar drops to P11. Actually P12.
Oh, and gets
that's
nerfed.
Clive Allen. Yeah, that was Clive Allen overbraking, and we have a car off the track.
That's Butters.
Yeah, it appears to be Sam Butters. So.
And Watts fighting with Purcell.
Yeah. Sean Purcell seems to have dropped a bit from the start. Let's see if he can regain his positions and go back into contention for the podium. That looks like a contact with John Watts. So John seems to be giving back the position which Dennis is using to get past quickly, and into P5 he goes. But nothing can stop Daniel Fernandez currently. Last lap he was half a second ahead of Ben Blakemore, so let's see what happens in this lap, but looks like it will be another half a second. So it seems that Daniel Fernandez will slowly fade in the distance. Let's go with his teammate as
Watts gets it.
John Watts? Yeah, John Watts has a mistake and goes into the wall. He's now that's another Ouch! Yeah.
That's gonna be damage on his front right now. Fortunately, not gonna be the end of the world. He should be able to carry that damage to the end if it's not too bad. But
Alex Torgross is now challenging Dennis on the uphill to Sector 3. It's too wide currently.
It's ideal line.
It's squeezing, and Alex is past. So let's see if Dennis can fight back on the straight. Let's not forget that both can use DRS due to this game limitations. So will Dennis be more brave on the braking? Not yet. So he lets Alex Torgrosa go through. I'm sure Dennis is planning on actually towing behind him because he knows that Alex Torgrosa is a top contender. We have
Blakemore is off at turn 5 or 6. 5. I'm going to suggest it's the first real 5 turn. Just ran a little bit wide onto the gravel, and that now puts Ake back up into second, where he earned after that turn 2 incident between the two Spanish teammates. With Purcell currently looking at a podium, but with Torgrosa hunting him down, a mere second back. Yep, that number 30 car is on the hunt and is wanting that third position. So it seems like the two Spaniards from last time out, that wasn't a one-trick pony. They do have this pace across different types of tracks and different weather conditions, and that is a worrying omen for the rest of the drivers.
John Watts is back on the rise. Passing Sam Butters currently into turn 3. Will Sam let him through? So John has a lock-up under braking, but looks like a tidy exit so far. And in fact, Sam Butters might be on attack from Mislav Bago as well. They are matching their pace, so there is not a clear advantage, but it looks to me like Mislav will stand a chance very soon on Sam Butters. That's of course if John Watts doesn't tow Sam Butters away from him while trying to regain the lost time and position. Let's see what's happening in the P7 to P9. So we have a group of cars.
Reese goes very wide out of the last corner, pulls to the inside.
Yeah,
assume
will
in
use
defense
this as an attacking point.
Yep.
And Tim Eintema is back, so it's a three-way Dutch fight. Now, it seems that Vries's line is compromised. Cass's exit, which Tim Eintema is using to get really close. Looks like an attack on Cas Binders and looks like a 3-wide into turn 3.
Oh, bit of contact made.
A slight touch, and Cas Binders is squeezed out. Julian Vries stays in his position, but Tim Eintema is looking really close as Vries goes defensive, and Tim Eintema goes to the outside. Let's see if late braking helps it. They're going too wide into turn 4, and that's a squeeze, but Julian Vries just manages to keep it on the road. That's a late braking by Tim Eintema, which sends Julian Vries out of the track. And into a spin as well, unfortunately. Yeah. So our four-way battle reduced to 3 for the time being. Yeah, and Sarv has joined, so this is very good to see. So let's cut back to Ben Blakemore and Dennis going down the start-finish straight. Dennis goes inside to defend. Ben Blakemore goes outside. Oh, and he's already passed. Let's see if he compromised his turn 1. No, he didn't. Very clean run. No, that was incredible. Looks like it was not the fastest, so maybe Dennis can stand a chance of towing and attacking into turn 3. A late lunge down the inside can help it. No, he decides not to do it at this very moment, but looks like a good run as Ben Blakemore has a slight snatch of oversteer. Dennis has a bit better exit, but this straight is too short for any moves for now, so I guess they will wait until the next start-finish straight. It seems that Ben Blakemore is taking some corners a bit wider than it's supposed, so meanwhile, if he keeps his head down and focus, Dennis can get that P4. Meanwhile, we battle over 9th, Cas Binder and Clive Allen. Both
looking to get into that top 10 and draw their way up to Sarv. We know that Clive had an altercation with Sarv earlier in the race, so there is some pace there to be had from Alan's F3 car there.
It seems that we missed something with Car Speeders, as Sarv has managed to get ahead of him into P8. So it seems that we have cut away from the fight just as they were about to swap positions.
Meanwhile, the battle for third now is definitely on. Sean Purcell and Alex Torregrossa coming across the top of the hill. Torregrossa's taken that gap down from where it was at around 2 seconds to 7/10, and this is where he's going to be getting into the dirty air being thrown off the back of Sean Purcell's car.
Oh, Clive Allen is going to the inside of Caspinders on the back straight. Let's see if he can stick this move. Seems like a later braking from Caspinders, but Clive has the inside very tidy, too wide into this corner. And Caspinders seems to have a better exit, and he will now hold the inside for the double left-hander. Goes very late on the braking. Clive goes a bit too slow into this corner, and Cas has a better run, and off he goes in the distance. Sorry for cutting you.
No, that's fine. It looks now like Alan is going to have an attempt on Caspinders as well, but we are going to have to focus on this battle for third at the moment. The 30 car takes a look to the inside of the 7. Nothing happening this time, but maybe on the uphill braking, we're going to jump on board with Torregrossa as he looks to the inside. No pace to be had there. He may have actually had to jump on the brakes there. He was very, very close. Not happening yet. Purcell taking a slightly wider line. That isn't the worst thing in the world at that turn 2, because it allows you to get the throttle down. It keeps you a slightly higher speed. It sounds silly, it's a couple of miles per hour, but it allows you to get your traction down a little bit better. But Purcell is struggling on those front tyres, locking up again, coming downhill into 4. Actually, I think it's this long right-hander that's actually 5, and into 6, into the left-hander. That gap just opens up again. So Purcell putting up a good fight for his podium position. Meanwhile, Jonathan Watts, that gap is less than what we're looking at here for over this third position fight.
It seems that Alex Torregrossa obviously has the pace advantage, but it's not easy to pass in Austria, let me tell you that.
No, absolutely.
I'm sure Sean Purcell knows who he has behind, so definitely it won't be an easy task defending, but it's worth trying like hell. Meanwhile, yes. Sean Purcell has a purple Sector 1, so it's possible that the number 7 car is configured with low downforce, and thus taking a bit more alter the lines through some corners. So purple Sector 1 usually would tell that you have a low downforce setup car, as it maximizes the top speed, but it's all about sectors 2 and 3 on this track. So Alex Torregrossa actually is coming really close to this fight, and he has a 3/10 advantage on Sean Purcell. We saw the gap dramatically decrease on the braking zone after the after the back straight. So looks like at this moment Alex Torregrossa is much more confident with braking, and this is surely what you need at the Red Bull Ring.
Yes, absolutely. However, Purcell does have one advantage on his side in that he's got a Formula 3 car to block the road with. Doesn't matter how confident you are under braking, Torregrossa has to make way for the 7 in front. There's nothing he can do about that. Coming up the hill once again, that gap has kind of stabilized.
Oh, that's a big lockup by Sean Purcell, and he goes off
wide.
track. Yeah, and that's a position gain by Alex Torregrossa without a fight.
So now,
a proper fight at least, yeah.
Well, of course, now we have to see how much of a pace difference Purcell has when it comes to the open air. I'm kind of upset that we were robbed of that third place battle.
Yeah, me too. And actually, it seems that these cars have a pace advantage over the number 39 of Mustafa Eike. Eike seems to be running in mid 19s, but while these two cars run in low 119s. So in a few laps, and there will be quite a few in the next 16 minutes and 40 seconds, I'm sure they will gain some places. But now it's...
Sav has dropped it.
Oh.
Sav has dropped it going around the left-right in Sector 3. That's going to drop him right down to the back of the grid. Oh no, Brees is... Oh no, Brees is going to get past as well. Oh, that's a nightmare for him.
So Sav into dead last at the moment?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes, Sav, look, is in 16th position.
Yeah, that's not what you would like to be doing at this moment. But the left-right-hander is really tricky, because on the left-hander you want to throw the car in. It's all you want to be doing. You don't care about what's happening. You know, braking early, smooth. Throw it. Use the brake even to upset the car more, so you have the rear stepping out, and then you want to catch it. So this is a specific driving style for Formula 3 cars at that very corner. So, but once you do it, you don't do it properly, it will catch you out. So I think what Sarv did was he was not able to catch the car in the very good time to stick it on the road, and thus we saw the spin.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. The problem is with these downforce cars is that when they do lose it, they don't tend to give much warning, and neither do they give much chance of catching it, do they?
Yeah.
You are very much you're either on it or you're trying to grab a fishtail that is going faster than you can keep up with.
Yeah, well, you saw me.
I wouldn't.
In season 2, I was really battling these cars, and they took the worst of me.
Yeah, I can imagine. We got eyes on Sam Butters at the moment in 10th position, chasing down Clive Allen. And the gap has been around a second or so for a few laps, but keeps dipping just below. He's in a bit of a train, a little bit, on the outer reaches of a train with Uznik as well.
Oh, you started it well. Come on.
Ah, okay. He's not doing bad. He's not doing bad at all. But yet again, Fernandez goes fastest with a 1:18.9, and that's only halfway through the race. Actually, this is really interesting. Clive Allen. We seem to have a bit of a high downforce, low downforce setting clash like we were having with P3. Sam Butters has made up half a second in the back half of the track, but now we get onto the front section. Butters is in the slipstream of Clive Allen, but can he do anything with it? Coming up to turn 2, and the gap has closed right up. Let's see if he's got the confidence in the car to start making progress. Is that Cass? Cass has binned it. Where has he binned it? Turn 3. So Cass Binders down to last. We jump back up to Butters in 10th. Inch by inch.
Position gains, yeah.
Inch by inch.
What I would like to point out at this moment is Alex Torregrosa going also 1:18.9 and is currently a bit more than a second away from Mustafa Eike. Mustafa does not have that big pace advantage, but he can hold Alex off, and these are valuable points. So
yeah,
I reckon in a few laps time we will have a nice pretty fight for P2, but at this moment, Sam Butters versus Clavan looks like to be the one to watch.
Ooh, I don't know. Ake dropped a lot of time in the past few seconds, in fact. As we look at Toro Rosso in the 30 car, just out of our screenshot, we will see, there we go, the yellow car of Ake trying to, and this is going to be a battle for Ake for sure, trying to keep that 30 car, which has closed him down something ridiculous over the past few laps. Oh,
Yeah,
Cass is
but
disconnected.
Alex is also making mistakes because he lost half a second through this lap, but still is 4 tenths up last lap on Mustafa Ake, and now the gap is around 7 tenths. What looks to be like a better turn 1 for Mustafa.
Tim Eitema and Dennis going at it in 6th and 7th. Tim Eitema takes the racing line. Dennis outbrakes himself, and that is a very, very, very clean pass.
Nice switch by Tim Eitema. Nice switch. He just let Dennis go. He drove his own race. He didn't look at Dennis and wanted to see where Dennis would brake. He just drove his own race, let Dennis outbrake himself, then just turn in and go on.
Absolutely, that was a move that was started in the last corner and held all the way down the start-finish straight. Of course, Dennis had to stick to his line because he went to block so early, and because he went so far to the inside, he was always going to have issues through turn 1. That square right is not very kind to these Formula 3 cars. So the racing line is very, very important. Back up to the battle for second now, as Toro Rosso and Ake come through the last 2 corners. Really, really is good. A beautiful shot of those last 2 corners. It really flows really well when you've got the feel of a car as well. It's encouraging. It eggs you on. It makes you want to brake a little bit later and push a little bit harder. And 3 tenths is now the gap as they come out of turn 1. Very much tucked up behind the rear wing is the 30 car. Is he going to go for it into turn 2? Yes, it is.
He's going to send it, yeah.
And that is, unfortunately, all she wrote. It looks like the gap already out to 6 tenths for Ake, so missing that apex has thrown Mustafa off something chronic, and now it's Toro Rosso. We interviewed the 2 Spaniards last week. They're good friends off track and they work together, but they are always battling each other on track. They have that friendly respect for each other, but they are, at the end of the day, both heading for the top and trying to get to that top step of the podium. So now it's going to be Toro Rosso's turn to reel in his teammate and get those purple sectors, get those purple laps, and see what he can do. And he is going to drag Ake up with him as well. The draft down these long straights is going to be very, very important for that 39 car.
I'm just looking at the timetables and looking at Mustafa Ake for the last few laps while he was battling Alex Toro Rosso. It seems that the 39 driver is losing his cool at the moment, and I'm wondering if Sean Purcell can actually make a fight for P3. It's only 8 minutes to go, but it's something close to 5 laps, I believe.
Yeah.
Maybe even 6. So with a stable decrease of the gap from currently what looks to be like 1.3 seconds, I think we can actually see a proper fight for P3, and I'm really, really looking forward to it.
Yeah, we'll be keeping an eye on that gap from Purcell to Ake. Currently at 1.2 seconds as they come through Sector 3. Gaps seem to be spreading out ever so slightly, but let's actually jump on board with Purcell as he... Get them right, there we go. As he runs through the final sector and across the start-finish line. Really is a sight to behold, is this sector, and he goes faster than he's gone so far. 1:19.3, I think that was. Colours clashing a little bit.
It was 19-0 and Mustafa 19-1.
So, while the gap in front seems to be spreading out slightly, it's nowhere near. And Fernandez has dropped a load of time to Toro Rosso behind him.
Yeah, lost nearly 2 seconds last lap. He did a 21.4, and Alex Toro now goes up the inside and into turn 4. He goes way into the lead. Is there a problem with Daniel Fernandez?
I was going to say, surely not team orders.
Maybe. Well,
unless he's run out of tires.
These two guys, yeah. they had a beer and they really came up with a strategy. Seems to. Let's see if Mustafa Eike can fight for P2 now, because the gaps have really decreased by a lot, and Alex Toro is actually disappearing in the distance. What looks to me like perhaps team orders, but I'm not sure. Let's not forget Austria 2002, I believe.
Absolutely no. I don't think that's team orders from these two. If you look at Fernandez now, to 121, he's either fuel saving or he has completely run out of tyres and he's on survival mode. Let's jump aboard with Eike, who has...
Eike has a good run out of turn 1.
This might be tyres.
Goes inside at the moment. Will he send it under braking, late braking from both?
He has row position.
That's a side by side.
No contact. That was excellent and brilliant knowledge of the width of the cars as well from both. As Eike now in the draft has got the edge. Can he do it again? He's going to try again, but Fernandez knows he's got the confidence in the car. He's going to try and do it.
That's close. That's really close. Daniel Fernandez can send down the inside of the left-hander, and he does it. Wow, this is an intense fight and brings Sean Purcell into the fight as well. So it's a three-way fight for P2 as Mustafa goes wide into the left-hander. Seems that Sean Purcell has a better run, and going into the final complex of the two right-handers, can he stick a move against Mustafa Eike?
That's not going to happen there.
No, but better run through the last corner maybe. No, he doesn't make one. However, don't underestimate turn 1. We are soon approaching it. As gaps have spread out a bit, it seems that I think these were team orders and it's a mission success, truly, but it really came down to the line between Mustafa Eike and Daniel Fernandez. So I already have a few questions in driver interviews, but currently Sean Purcell goes defensive around the outside. Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Has a cutback and goes onto DRS, onto the back straight. The gap is close. Seems that Purcell had a better run out of turn 3. Goes for the outside. Mustafa Eike late braking on the inside. Will Sean Purcell switch? No,
he tries to switch back
to make it. Yeah, he was too slow to make it. But no things are lost here.
Nope, there's 4 minutes left, and every corner is an opportunity for Purcell at this point. As they come through the left-right sector down towards the final double right-handers. The 7 car looks to be settling at the moment, unfortunately.
Yeah, it seems to be. But Daniel Fernandez is now 7 tenths behind Alex Toro. Will they make a switch? This is becoming too crazy for me, and I've never seen this in sim racing. I actually believe these guys have swapped so that Daniel Fernandez can hold Mustafa Eike off and bring home a 1-2. So after the fight, after the incident we have in turn 3 at the start, we have Alex Toro top dropping to P11, I believe, or P12 perhaps, and now is in the lead of this 30-minute race. So this is some immense pace that these guys have, and very, very well executed so far.
Absolutely. 9th and 10th, Clive Allen. The places have now reversed. While we were focusing on the battle for the lead, Clive Allen, Butters has gotten past Allen, and they are still fighting with a couple of laps left to go in this 30-minute race. Don't know as there's enough pace in Allen's car there to actually make the pass, but he is haunting the back of Butter's car, just waiting for him to make a mistake and possibly take advantage. Ake does his fastest as a 1:19.0, which is 0.2 faster than the two cars in front. It's going to close the gap down again to a second.
He seems to be sending it. Look at this sector 2 time. He was 0.5 quicker than anyone else on the track, so
crazy.
But the question is there enough time? I think we have only 2 laps left, so this lap to the end and another lap, and that would be it. So
that would be
seems for the pace disadvantage, it seems that even P2 is not in reach, even though Daniel Fernandez is losing 0.8, now 0.9 compared to his best lap. So currently is on a 19.8, while Mustafa Ake is on a 19.4, and we see this 0.3 in advantage of Mustafa Ake at the end of sector 2. So one last lap, one last chance, but don't forget that Sean Purcell is also really close, so any mistake from any of these 4 drivers will, well, not 4, but the top 3 will shake up the order.
Absolutely. Purcell does his fastest lap of the race again on the second to last lap. 30 seconds left on the countdown.
Mustafa Ake seems to be really close to Daniel Fernandez, only 0.6, so any mistakes...
The gaps are equal. The gaps are equal on these first 4 cars. There is nothing between them as far as pace is concerned. Purcell gets a little bit of a wiggle on out of turn 3, getting a little bit too eager off of the throttle, and that will drop him back. But Ake, it's all on. It's all on. Just one braking zone missed by 1/10 of a second. That's all the space he needs.
The time's up. This is the last lap. This is the last lap. Come on. Let's see if Daniel Fernandez and Alex Torgrosa switch, but I would go on board with Mustafa Ake now.
I was going to say, I don't think they've got the space to switch, even if they wanted to.
Yeah, well, it's going to be tricky if they want, but Sean Purcell is definitely out of the fight, and it's only about the top 2 to see if they will switch.
No. Can't be.
No?
Ake is too close. It's 0.3. It will be 0.3 across the line. Alex Torgrosa will take it in a dramatic turn of events, and only a little bit of help from his teammate. Ake will come home in 3rd. Purcell will be ruining that little bit of wheel spin that he got on the last lap. Blakemore will come home in 5th. Eintema will come home in a triumphant 6th. I think it's pretty fair to say I would be so happy after executing that overtake. Dennis will come home in 7th. Watts will come home in 8th. Butters in 9th, with a comfortable gap in the end from Allen in 10th. Kit 462 will be in 11th when he eventually comes across the line now. Vries will come home in 12th, not a bad finish in the end, and Saab will come home in 13th with a couple of retirements to the pits and one disconnection from Kaz Bienders.
I wonder what happened to the number 33 and number 34, the Yugo Racing team. I would say that they ran out of fuel, probably.
Yeah, something similar to that.
They did consistent laps, but overall, pretty decent performance. And what I love about the Spanish duo is that they are always taking the full in lap. This is a very nice display of honor of the race. So very well done to the Spanish duo, taking another 1-2 in the bag.
Absolutely astounding.
Well, given their team name, I wouldn't count for anything else. The team name is Winning Run GP, so they are on a winning run. So very well done to both. Wow.
And what a race one that was. A lot more on-track action than perhaps we were expecting. A very messy turn 1 and turn 2 though. I was expecting slightly better, I think is probably the best way of putting it, from AOR drivers, but these downforce cars are unwieldy beasts when they're running in traffic. If you are hoping for any kind of slack from these cars, you will not be finding them here.
Well, one thing is sure is that the Spanish duo Alex Torgrosa and Daniel Fernandez, even though they are coming from a Mediterranean, they surely can cope with subalpine climate here.
Absolutely.
Only 14 degrees Celsius the air temperature.
That's cold.
Yeah, and we're now going into race 2. Don't forget that the top 10 will be starting in reverse order, which brings Clive Allen to the sort of pole position and sends Alex Torregrosa to P10. So
it's going to be an interesting race for sure. None of the thing is with those, so with the top 10 there is not a lot between them, and there's not enough for you to comfortably say yes, these drivers are going to make it, especially at this Red Bull. I keep on going to call it the A1 Grand Prix ring. That shows how old I am. But yeah, the speed. No, it's not an understatement. It's the pace of the cars. The Spanish pair do seem to have the legs on the rest of the field, but it's not enough. It's not enough to be comfortable with their ability to get past those what will end up being 8 cars.
Yeah, one thing is sure, is the top 10 is really divided in 2 groups according to these results. So we had this group of P1 to P6, so Clive Allen, Alex Torregrosa, Daniel Fernandez, Eike, Purcell, and Blakemore, finishing in what looks like 5 seconds each from each other. And then there was a huge gap to Tim Eintema, even bigger gap to Dennis, John Watts, and so on. So
yeah, I think there was quite a bit of battling in the midfield and people just trying to use their tyres up a little bit too quickly, and that's what led to those gaps more than anything else, because we saw on straight up pace there isn't that much in it.
So the race 2 is starting soon.
We have the lights ready.
Seconds to go. Yeah. I'll let you do the start this time out.
Oh, so. Fantastic. Race 2 is what we're going to be looking forward to. Clive Allen is going to lead the pack away. A lot of wheel spin from a lot of the drivers, but a clean getaway nonetheless. We have eyes on the 23 at the moment. And a very, very, very clean into turn 1. Quite the opposite of last time out. And coming up towards turn 2. Everyone's so much more patient, but side by side is Ben, Blakemore, and Dennis on a spin.
John Watts spun, yeah.
Thank you very much,
After
John Watts.
Contact.
Spinning in turn 2, which gives us 3 wide for, I think that is Dennis, Torregrosa, and Eintema. Coming down towards turn 5, it's going to be Eintema that takes... Oh, it's Purcell, I'm sorry. It's going to be Eintema that takes the position for the time being, but they go side by side now down the hill. Purcell will insist around the outside. Fantastic piece of driving from Sam there to get that 4th position. And now Torregrosa just had to sit and watch from the sidelines as those two went side by side. There was no room for him whatsoever. But behind that battle as well, we do have Dennis and Eike in the 23 and 39 respectively. Looking up the inside of Alex Torregrosa is Dennis. You must be kidding. But note, that's what these reverse grids give us, is the winner from last time out having to go defensive and getting outdone by Dennis, but Dennis outbrakes himself and Torregrosa will take the place back and Eike will take a place as well. Sarv will make it back up to 8th as well. And as the front of the grid, Blakemore and Butters going side by side. Blakemore going around the outside, just being able to get the traction down the slightest bit earlier, like we were saying in the first race, and that is what gave him that inch that he needed.
Mustafa Eike is going really wide. He went on the rest, seems to have lost some time. It's 3 wide into turn 4. He holds on to what I believe is P8.
7th, Dennis will make it past Sarv for 8th. Oh, Butters has gone wide. Buzz and Blakemore have collided, it looks like, in the run down the hill. So Blakemore down to 5th, Butters all the way down to 8th, and is going to be taken by Sarv most likely in a moment. So a nice calm turn 1, straight away thrown out the window come the rest of the race so far. Clive Allen, meanwhile, going fastest with the 124. No, doing his fastest lap. 124 with a 2.6 second lead at the moment. Back to Purcell, and Purcell also in clear air with Tim Eintemer 1.7 seconds behind. Toro Grossa has made fantastic progress with the falling of Blakemore and Butters to the side to 4th position already.
Oh, that's a 3 wide into turn 3 with Sarv, Butters and Julian Rees. A bit of contact, which sends Rees wide but ahead of the 2. So now it's Sarv side by side with Sam Butters. Actually, Sam Butters looks to have a better run, looking for a braking zone into turn 4, and very good defensing. Oh, that's a big lockup. I didn't see from who it was, but it was pretty dramatic. As we stay in the same. Wonder what happened to Daniel Fernandez. He's into P13 at the moment.
Ooh, I wonder.
That's odd, yeah.
That's a big drop. I wonder if he's had contact from one of the drivers he was chasing. Unfortunately, we don't have the option of replays here. One of the things that I am appreciating. Oh, Blakemore runs super wide, and that's going to drop him back into the grasp of Eike now.
We don't need replays because there is a huge amount of live content right now. So we have Sarv and Sam Butters and Julian Rees.
Oh, Butters gets wheel spin.
Butters, goes really eager on throttle, and in the backdrop we see Daniel Fernandez taking an attack on Mislav Bago into turn 3.
So we have
very late braking by Daniel Fernandez, which sends him a bit outside. So Mislav Bago is back in P11, but only for a short while. Daniel Fernandez sends one down the outside. Oh, that's a touch, actually. And late braking by Daniel Fernandez, but he's ahead. He's into P11 now.
That's the overtake done. And next on his hit list will be the one of the league coordinators, Sarv. I'm sure he'll give him the utmost respect as he drives around the outside of him when he gets to him.
And then open a steward's inquiry if he doesn't let him by.
That's the one. Rest of the field, Eike still relatively stable. Blakemore seems to have recovered to gain a bit of time. Sarv, meanwhile, looking at the back of Butters. Butters spins!
Yeah, spinning and barely catching Sarv out there. This was a bare escape by Sarv.
Absolutely, that was luck, not skill, that saved Sarv that time.
Of course, we're not talking bad about Sarv here, but
no.
Avoiding this by skill would be an alien reaction.
I don't think. Oh, Blakemore's had a spin through turn 3. It looks like. Yep, getting way too eager on the throttle, and now this is the problem that we've spoken about many times with these F3 cars.
It seems that he came together. Sorry for this with Mustafa Eike. He's driving slowly. It seems that he's waiting for someone.
Oh, really?
As he drops some 5 places, I believe. He looks to be into P10 at this moment from P6. Not really. That's not an impressive result, of course, but the top 4 are getting more and more closer. Sean Purcell having much better lap times than Clive Allen, taking a second off of Clive's lap each lap. So they are coming more and more close. Currently, the gap is 8 tenths on the line and 7 tenths per lap advantage.
And that was half
Clive
a second.
Allen.
That was half a second taken out of the leader that time round. I'm going to jump to that battle now, as it's going to be interesting because Eintema has got Torregrossa on his rear wing and Purcell is on Clive Allen's back wing, so we are going to be struggling to work out which one to be watching. Purcell is very much underneath the downforce of the leader, but Eintema's gone defensive very early. Sweeps back across the racing line. You are allowed to do that, of course, if the driver's not close enough to attack, and that is a bit of air now between both of those cars. They're just going to follow each other through this long sweeping section. They're all very mature drivers here. They're not going to be throwing it at each other here. Because there's no point in trying to overtake through that sector if you're not already overtaking going into it. The overtaking sections is Sector 1 and Sector 2. Those big stops and big acceleration zones are the places to go to get. And Clive Allen goes defensive very early and swings back across the racing line. That is going to be interesting as far as stewards are concerned, maybe. Very brave.
Oh, and Sean Purcell rides the curb, so this sends him a bit. This sets him back in this fight. Let's cut on board with Daniel Fernandez attacking Sarv out of turn 1, going uphill into turn 3. Let's see which driver picks which side. Seems that Sarv will go outside while Daniel Fernandez goes on the inside late, on breaking both of them, and Daniel Fernandez is going by without any big issues. So into P7 goes Daniel Fernandez, while his teammate is fighting Team Eintema for P3 at this very moment, and the top 4 are stacked in 2 seconds at this time. So we are surely going to open some interesting fights for the podium places. And seeing Clive Allen defend like that on the start-finish straight last time out, it seems that these battles will take some time and will give us a lot of material to comment on. But so far they are all consistent and they are keeping their heads down, so this is very, very good to see. What we missed was John Watts getting
Clive Allen goes wide. Clive Allen goes wide through turn 1, giving Purcell a much, much better run. He's going to have to pick a side and stick to it. He goes to the inside, but Purcell is already passed as they come up towards the hill. The only hope that Allen has here is some late braking, but he cannot do it. Meanwhile, Torregrossa goes up the inside of Eintema behind, and suddenly these two battles fall at more or less the same straight, as Torregrossa still needs to go defensive because Eintema is not done yet. He goes to the outside, tries to brake as late as possible, takes the outside line, tries to cut back, does the 17, but not able to get the throttle down quite early enough, and it looks like the 30 car is just about going to hold on to that first podium position. Next on his hit list and a second up the road is Clive Allen.
Amazing move by Alex Torregrossa. I think Team Eintema was focusing on what's happening ahead of him, and Alex Torregrossa knew it and decided to surprise Team Eintema. The other version of this story would be that Alex Torregrossa outbraked himself, and in a avoiding maneuver he actually managed to jump ahead of Team Eintema. We'll leave this to you to decide which
Blakemore has a massive incident in the last corner, and it looks like Allen's had gone very, very wide in the first corner. Torregrossa and Eintema have both gone through, and he's dropped 2 seconds back to Eintema now.
Yeah, this is what we missed, sadly.
Yeah.
In the meantime, also Julian Rees made a mistake. Last lap he lost nearly 20 seconds, so he's now at the very back of the grid behind Sam Butters. And it seems that Ben Blakemore has retired and disconnected, so
that's a shame.
Yeah, this is a very sad occasion for him, but let's hope that he will find his cool and fight back at the next round.
Briscoes as well. Retirements, they're all falling by the wayside in this second round.
Oh my goodness.
That's a shame. That really is a shame. Sarv currently circulating in 7th now, with Ake starting to reel him in bit by bit. These guys are very similar on pace when it comes to their race laps. Meanwhile, Sean Purcell does a 1:19.0 across the line.
Currently faster than Alex Grossa, which is really, really good to see. The gap is 2 seconds. If he can hold on to this pace, I'm sure that, well, he's on course to win, but I did not say it. I'm not cursing.
No, you did not. You didn't say that. You didn't say that. However, he was almost a second faster than Fernandez down in 6th, who is also running in clear air. So there is a raw pace. It's not affected by either the drag of other cars, or like in any way, shape, or form, or by traffic. That is raw pace. Is a 1:21, I think it was.
Yeah. Let's jump on board with Mustafa Ake. He is coming close to Sarv at this.
You got it.
This moment on the back straight and into sector 2 they are going. This is, I believe, the closest battle right now on the track until some gaps close in at the front. So Mustafa Ake now sending it into sector 3. This corner is amazing as Sarv goes a bit wide over the sausage. I believe he lost some time.
Ake goes wider.
Also those Ake, yeah.
That's actually really
something.
That's actually really interesting. That's a really odd place to go wide.
Yeah, what I managed to see from my driving is that for some reason you're just too lazy to turn in. You think that you can go there much wider, carrying so much speed, and you're just too lazy to turn in the wheel.
Yep, I know that
I agree
feeling.
I agree with you. It's so stupid, but
so Danny Fernandez.
To be a real thing.
Fernandez's brother is in YouTube chat, and I think he must be either behind him or something, shouting at him to drive faster, because he's just done the fastest lap of the race.
18.6. Yeah, he's already behind Dennis, but Dennis is also trying to increase his pace, because the last lap I saw a purple sector 2 of him. So this is going to be an interesting fight, and I believe that Dennis will not just move out, because Dennis was a podium contender in Spain last time out, as Daniel Fernandez makes a bit of a mistake and goes over that curve. We're going to wait a bit more until we see the move, but at the front you wouldn't believe what's going on. It's Sean Purcell actually increasing his lead over Alex Grossa.
He is. Not by much.
Not by much, but he is increasing, and this is important to keep, because you want to be doing it, because these two Spaniards seem unbeatable, as Daniel Fernandez is sticking behind Dennis. He goes for the outside. Will he go around the outside? No.
Don't think so.
Guys
Dennis. Oh, no.
Dennis
Is that a crash?
No, Dennis spun, and Daniel Fernandez T-boned him, so... Looks to me like Dennis will be behind the other Dennis, Dennis Yuznic, and behind Mustafa Ake and Sarv as well.
What's having an absolute nightmare coming across the back straight? I don't know whether that was damage or whether that was induced by someone else. That was insane, just catapulting at the Unco barrier on the outside.
And that was Jonathan Watts in the wall, and his stop seems to have retired. We're going to...
Give me a second. I'm going to do a little bit of cheating and look back on the stream. Sorry. What happened to Watts there? So the Ake came across in front of him trying to block. And Watts, trying to take evasive action, just speared the wall.
Oh, that's
absolutely incredible. I wish I could show you that. That was absolutely crazy. I've never seen anything like it.
Well, we will have to revisit it once we have Jonathan Watts here in the comm box, but
Yeah.
at the front, Sean Purcell is still pulling away from Alex Torregrosa. He has been 2/10 faster than him in Sector 1 and another 2/10 faster in Sector 2, so it looks like Sean Purcell is on a course to set the fastest lap of the race at this very moment while in the lead. I'm not cursing, come on.
let's jump on board with him just to make sure he absolutely gets the best of the commentator's curse. As he comes across the line now.
1:18.799.
Not the fastest so far. That's a 1:18.6 was Fernandez's fastest lap previously.
But Alex Torregrosa is 2/10 slower than Sean Purcell, so the gap is stable at 2 seconds. I want to see it this way. I want someone to beat the Spanish. I don't have anything against these two guys, but we want to see more different winners to make an entertaining season.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And
let's cut with Mustafa Eke once again, fighting with the Dutch Dennis and chasing the Croatian Dennis.
A Dennis sandwich, you should say.
No, he's not in the sandwich.
Oh, he's the bread.
Yeah, the lower one, the one that gets more burned. But he definitely wants to become a ham in that one.
Fantastic.
At the top of this one, we have Denis Jurnic in P6. Very consistent through this race, may I say, and seems to have avoided all damage that could have happened to him. What I believe is going to be his best finish so far, so kudos to him. But he has these two fast drivers coming behind him, and these two have had their fair share of incidents throughout the race, so I think they're fuming now, and that they want the best possible result, so they will not hold back.
I have bad news.
Fighting for that P6.
I have bad news. Something has happened to Purcell.
No.
8/10 is the gap from first to second now. I think he's lost a significant chunk of time.
Yeah, last lap time 1:20.2, so he lost 1.3 seconds to Alex Torregrosa, as there is another lockup, so the pressure is definitely building up.
Yeah.
I hope they're not, but
I sincerely hope that isn't Purcell's tyres giving up. That would be awful. Jonathan Watts disconnects. We lose another driver, but we're getting to the point now where I think everyone who finishes will get a point. That's only in the top 10, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So we're getting close to it. This second race has really drawn out the those who aren't quite willing to see the race out. 1:19.1 versus 1:19.0 that time round.
That's really close. It's a narrowing, but Alex Torregrosa makes a mistake out of turn 1 and seems to be losing a bit of time. Let's not forget Sean Purcell is faster through sector 1 by a lot, and now he's gaining 3/10 on Alex Torregrosa, who makes a mistake, goes oversteery into turn 3 and loses another chunk of time, and Sean Purcell is safe for now.
Yeah. Meanwhile,
Mustafa Eke on Dennis.
Fernandez very quickly. Yeah, McKay goes out to the Ake goes to the outside, tries to get the throttle down. Dennis blocks really very well. Was that Dennis passing Ake? Yeah, it was. I'm not going mad, am I?
No. Ake was behind the Dennis.
Oh, okay, fine. So that was Ake going for that 7th position. Dennis locking up in that downhill, braking once again. Ake looks to have the pace, looks to the inside, not quite going to happen this time. Just trying to get in the mirrors of Dennis in front. Now
just to let him know that he's here.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm sure that's fine for now.
Yep, Dennis will know that that Ake is there. He's not a driver who's easily put off, unfortunately. Unfortunately for Ake. that pressure is not going to work. Meanwhile, in front, Uznik, it looks like he ran a little bit wide. That's going to give these two drivers an opportunity. Oh, is there going to be an opportunity though?
Really close,
Yep.
really close to turn 1.
I'll let you call this.
Now Eike into the slipstream of Dennis goes to the left, going to the outside. Dennis once made a mistake going inside here. Late braking, locks the tires. That's a tight escape by Mustafa Eike to just break out of the toe of Dennis, but Dennis seems to have a better exit of turn 3 and now goes for the outside. Mustafa Eike defending the inside, and it seems that Dennis has pulled off from this fight, but
not quite yet.
Not from the war. Let's call it that way.
So Eike
even
having
though
to block.
Eike has a good, Eike is doing his track positioning really good. He's
Yep.
always where you can't just go. So he pushed Dennis to go outside into turn 4 and outside into turn 5, which is all that you need to do to defend, actually.
Yeah. And this is where we were saying that last sector of this lap isn't really where the overtaking's done. The sweeping corners don't really lend themselves to going around the outside, and especially with the way that the tracks weather in with Assetto Corsa, you don't want to be going around the outside, because once you get off the racing line, your grip will go like that. And again, with the aero that these cars are running, you don't want oversteer because you'll lose it.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, we have missed Daniel Fernandez getting past Clive Allen. What looks by lap times to be a Clive's mistake and not a proper fight, because Clive Allen lost 2 seconds on the last lap. So I believe it was a mistake, and Daniel Fernandez capitalized on it, because he was already some 7 tenths behind him when I last saw them.
Right.
So it looks like just Clive Allen has moved away and Daniel Fernandez made his way through.
Yeah. Yeah.
Meanwhile, at the front, 118.931 for Sean Purcell, 119.374 for Alex Torregrossa.
Torregrossa's struggling.
Yeah, it's not what we saw in the last race.
No. Meanwhile, Fernandez does a 118.4, and I think that's only a couple of thousandths off his fastest lap, and that's in 4th position. So that is that gap that was 4.5 seconds is now 3.5 seconds. I was going to say about Fernandez missing out on a podium this time out, but there's 5 minutes left to go. It's all possible now. It's all possible now.
But if anyone can defend in these cars,
if
anyone knows these cars, it's Tim Eintema.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
He is currently the only driver that competed in all 3 seasons of Formula 3. I'm sorry to Clive Allen if he is the one as well, but Tim Eintema has always been in the top mix and always knew how to push the vice champion of previous season. So I think he can defend off Daniel Fernandez, but time will tell, and nothing is over yet. Nothing's over. Oh, Alex Torregrossa makes a mistake, goes wide, and that looks like a fight over for me. The gap is increased to 2.8 seconds. Just managed to take a glimpse of it and saw him at the right time. So
119.8
now has to bring it home, and that's it.
119.8 for Eintema, 119.1 for Fernandez. That gap is still on its way down. I don't know if we're necessarily going to get a fight for that 3rd position, but the gap is definitely coming down. There's every possibility, let me throw this out to you, that Eintema was actually saving his tyres before, trying to leave some performance on the table for the time being, so that when, not if, Fernandez comes, he has the performance left to be able to defend to him.
Well, I can certainly agree about that. I can. I just don't have anything to throw against it.
No.
But what's bothering me about Tim Eintema, it looks like a higher downforce car, because his best sector time in Sector 1 was 18.7, while Daniel Fernandez did 18.4 in Sector 1. So that's a 3/10 advantage on a straight track, which means that if and when Daniel Fernandez comes behind Team Aitema, passing him would be doesn't seem too trivial.
It won't be.
Doesn't
Yeah,
seem
it won't.
too mystical. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So if Aitema can defend, that was 119.5 for Aitema and 118.5 for Fernandez. So that gap now coming down to 1.7 seconds. It's going to be tight. It's going to be tight. There's a possibility that Aitema might just be able to run the clock down and disallow Fernandez his first podium. It'll be the first race that Fernandez hasn't finished on the podium. There we go.
Yeah, well, don't throw it. It's also considered a commentator's curse, but let's call our viewers of the stream. Are you supporting Team Aitema or Daniel Fernandez in this one? Because gaps are really closing in.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, there is a battle between 6th and 7th between Yuznik and Ake. Ake has done the hard work, but Dennis has followed him. Ake has gone for the attack on Yuznik and has been pushed out wide quite fairly by Yuznik, but now he's going to lose that position that he worked so hard to gain from Dennis. So, an attempt at one lost him a position there, and that is with a lap or two to go. I'm going to say 2 laps. Yeah, I'm going to say 2 laps.
Yeah,
so this is
2 laps.
Second to last lap of the race, and suddenly Sean Purcell has a 4-second lead, the most comfortable that he's looked this entire race.
Oh, Daniel Fernandez is under pressure. He made a mistake and is now going 2 seconds behind into Sector 1. He lost 1.5 to Team Aitema only in Sector 1. Looks like a fight over for them.
Oh,
definitely.
So upsetting. Ake and Dennis, meanwhile, once again fighting over that 7th and 8th place. Ake will go wide, use the throttle early to be able to try and get an overlap on speed, and now the drafting down the back straight, or the top straight really, as it's the top of the hill. Does he have the confidence on the braking? Not quite, but Dennis locks up on the inside on turn in, trying to trail brake into that turn 5. We're going to go with.
That was a big lock up, yeah.
Yeah, thankfully it is the second to last lap of the race, so he doesn't need to make those tyres last too much longer, but he does need to keep Ake at bay for another lap, which is looking more and more difficult.
So Mustafa Ake is now following Dennis onto the main straight for the last time.
And here we go.
Sorry, for the penultimate time. Dennis goes to the inside. Mustafa Ake chooses the outside. Let's see who gets the break here. They're both braking really, really late, but Mustafa Ake has a better run through turn 1, and Dennis is now squeezing him to the outside. It seems like a move on the straight twice. He's squeezing him. They're going really close into turn 3. Dennis brakes later. Well, Ake made a switch. Dennis Yuznic makes a mistake and spins in turn 3, which promotes
them both.
Dennis into P6 and Mustafa Ake into P7. But this incident seemed to have raised the gap between Mustafa Ake and Dennis, which is not really good to see.
This may be it, unless Ake can do something really clever into the final 2 corners.
Meanwhile, let's put our hands together for Sean Purcell, who crosses the line and successfully managing to outrace the Spanish duo as Alex Torregrosa comes into P2 and Team Aitema into P3, just ahead of Daniel Fernandez. But let's go back to the P6 fight between Mustafa Ake and Dennis. Mustafa Ake is sending it down the... Oh, this is a good
There is an
run
overspeed.
through last run.
God, this is going to be so close. Dennis blocks as much as he possibly can, and he might just about keep it. That was .021 come the line. What a battle to the line that was. Just proving how much class there is through this AOR field. So, yes, congratulations, Sam Purcell. You have robbed the Spanish duo of Torregrosa and Fernandez of their 4th win in the series. Aitema as well a valiant effort, and a little bit of help from Fernandez making a mistake, allowing him to deny Danny Fernandez his 4th podium of the series.
That was surely a photo finish for...
That was insane. That was crazy. So your final classification shall be Sam Purcell coming home in 1st position, Alex Tarragosa in 2nd, Tim Eintemer will come home 3rd, Danny Fernandez 4th, Clive Allen 5th, Dennis will come home in 6th, Mustafa Ake in 7th, Mislav Bago in 8th, Yuznik in the end losing out to Mislav there. In 9th, Butters will come home in 10th, who is still circulating on his in-lap. Sav will come home 11th. And Kit462 in 12th. We had 2 retirements from that race, which is actually really high for what we've seen so far. First of all, we will drag our coordinator into the comm box and get some comments from him. Sav, how was that... those couple of rounds for you? An interesting battles up and down the field, from our perspective anyway.
Yeah, definitely. Those 2 races were definitely a lot better than obviously what last week had gone for me. I made sure to practice quite well, and I made sure to practice online, right, so that I was able to kind of practice on the same conditions that the race was going to take place in, and I think that kind of paid off tonight. I had a pretty good quali. I qualified P10, I think. That was really the maximum of my pace. I really went ham on that quali lap. And then I tried to do another run with like 5 minutes to go in quali, and I just wasn't able to put it together. But the races, I think, went pretty well. We did have a lot of incidents in race 1 on lap 1, which I think we kind of need to look into. But I think overall everybody was quite respectful on track, and like I said last week, this track certainly does not disappoint with these cars. This track is just perfect for these cars, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. It really was a fantastic evening of racing, both up and down the grid.
Definitely.
And it was.
I assume it was even more interesting in the cars, let alone in the comm box, because we here were sweating. I can tell you that.
Yeah, we still are. We still are. I'm still winding down.
But
yeah, definitely.
Let's start with the interviews. So,
yes,
I was just dragging in Sean Purcell, the first our race winner, and
is he seen Sean
winner,
P?
Yeah,
cool.
Not only a race winner, but a guy who managed to outrace and beat the Spaniard duo who have set to become, I don't know, the target. So, Sean Purcell, very well done, very good defending from you, and we are pleased to have another winner. So, how was this race 2 from your perspective?
If his microphone's working. We're missing our second race winner. I think that's... We'll leave you in the room for a minute, Sean, and just jump someone else in for a moment and grab... I'll tell you what, we'll grab Torgrosa in firstly to say congratulations, Alex, on that race 1 win.
Thank you.
A hard-fought, I think it's fair to say, victory for you.
Well, sure. I mean, I could do more than finish first on the first race and the second race. I just want to congratulate to Simple because he had an such awesome pace. But the by the second part of the second race, the last 15 minutes, he was awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. No. This unfortunately his mic seems to be muted at the moment, so he's or there's something up with his audio, so we can't get through to him. But talk us through that first race, because you had an incident in, I think it was turn 2.
Turn 3 actually. But
turn 3. Yes, sorry.
It's called turn 3, the right kink.
Yeah.
I don't, this track corner numbers always confuse me, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, talk us through that incident, because unfortunately the camera angles weren't ideal for what we were hoping for.
Well, the only thing I can say is I feel pity for that incident. I'm, I wasn't fast on the second on the first part of the circuit. I know there were people faster than me on the first part of the circuit, but then I was faster on the second and the third section. I think my teammate didn't expect me to exit that slow from the corner, and he's just hit me in the back in the rear. Yeah, just a race incident, I guess.
It's upsetting, and between your teammates as well.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, you managed to get the car back round, got some progress, and really, was there even any help from Danny, or was that purely racing between teammates?
No, I was actually. I mean, we didn't communicate at all. I just shot over the radio, just push when I was second, because I knew I just like the tires. I had no tires for that moment. Like I just pushed too hard on the car on that first race to get to the front, that I had no tires, and because he felt like bad for the incident, he waited for me and he just let me pass, and actually that was helpful because he was holding the whole pack behind me, even though
Yeah.
I couldn't go faster because I had no tires.
Fantastic. So fantastic teamwork through some unfortunate circumstances. Great to hear that you've both maintained such a good relationship. Expect nothing less from you, obviously, but no, absolutely brilliant to hear. Any questions from the other two, just out of interest?
Well, how do you cope with cold track, and cold air temperature? It's definitely quite an opposite thing than what we saw in Barcelona. So we thought things might be shaken up, but were they actually?
Yeah. I have two things to say about that. The first, for example, Simple actually managed that soft tires and actually helped him to win the race. I think that was decisive for him to keep the pace and win the race, the second race. Uh, when we were actually doing the practice, to try to keep the temperature up, we actually tweaked the setup to keep them warmer. We couldn't actually keep it to the whole lap, but at least to minimize the damage of running them on too cold, we tweaked the setup just to make them work.
Excellent. But much more of a challenge than you found it at your home track in Barcelona, then.
Yeah, we know it was going to be close between some of the top drivers. Uh, there's not there's so little to win in the circuit and so much to lose if you make a mistake, especially in these cars. And well, it was hard for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Brilliant. Congratulations, Alex. Thank you very much for coming to talk to us, and we'll see you next time out.
Yeah.
Right, so, Sean, we now have Purcell with a working microphone.
Hello.
However, we can hear ourselves. Well, that's weird.
Hello.
Hello. You're right, mate. There you go, that's better. And now we can't hear you.
Hello.
There we go, is that better?
Yeah, great.
Cool. We will just have to put up with a bit of an echo, unfortunately.
Sorry.
So, Sean, how was that race too? How did you keep yourself in check?
It was stressful. Alex is so fast. Him and Daniel, their pace is incredible, really. So, just had to try and stay consistent. And I saw Alex make a mistake here and there, and just had to keep it on the track.
You managed to prove that the Spaniards aren't infallible, and I think that's a really big achievement. It's going to be a massive encouragement for the rest of the field as well.
It's good to see a different flag on the top of the podium.
Yep, not biased at all. But no, you really had the measure of the race it looked like from the very beginning. You had to chase for it. You still had to work for it and overtake, but I think you earned that, and I think you deserved that as well.
Yeah, thanks very much. We made a risky choice going for the softs in the race, which I think we were the only one in the top half of the field who went for it, and it was great. And the setup just allowed for it. I want to say thanks to my dad as well for helping me out with that. So it was good.
It's our family affair. Manly, got any questions?
No, just a big pile of congrats and non-biased. Nice to see another flag, especially British one with the rich history and the great participation. So congrats once again.
Thanks very much.
Brilliant. Hopefully we'll see you with some more victories and silverware to put on the shelf next time out.
Fingers crossed.
Fantastic. Saab, you got a point?
No, not really too much, but I just want to say big congratulations to you, Sean. You were definitely the underdog from Catalonia, but you were in the mid-pack in Catalonia, and now you're all the way at the very top. So big congratulations on your left off.
Thanks very much.
There we go. Perfect. So next person that we always... It was a little bit rude of me, but unfortunately hearing all of our voices twice is a little bit off-putting when you're trying to talk. We will... let's drag who I think we can call one of the men of the moment as well from this Red Bull Ring evening into the box. Tim Eintema, an absolutely stalwart defense of a third position in that second race, and some very, very hard work in race 1 for you. To give us an overview of your evening.
Well, race 1, I went a little bit too hot, and I think pretty much 10 people behind me did the same, because I both hit someone and I got hit from behind at the same time. And yeah, after that I also hit someone else later on. I think it was at Dented Golf in the chat.
Yeah.
And yeah, so race 1 wasn't great. I made a few mistakes and it wasn't that nice. But then in race 2 I just was fairly consistent, and it was a lot better actually. I didn't hit anyone, nobody hit me. It was much better.
Yeah, no, we did notice that in the second race start, was that there was a lot more patience being given and shown all around pretty much. The drivers all taking their time and getting through those first laps. I think it lasted all of 5 corners before they decided that they were going to start fighting. But
yeah,
that's about normal, right?
And by then everybody spread out enough to not hit each other.
Absolutely. But an eventful evening for yourself, but you come away with the 3rd position, and you manage to deny Danny Fernandez his 4th podium of the tournament so far. The Spaniards showing that they do actually have some cracks in their armour that can be exposed. We're going to see some drivers capitalising on that next time out?
Yeah, I think the reverse grid just helped me a lot, because it spawned me on the grid like in 5th position, and then just not having any incidents in the second race, and being just consistent enough to keep in behind just gave me the 3rd position. I think it was more luck than real speed.
No, the word you're looking for is consistency, my friend. That's the real winner out. That's what really makes you a regular winner, is having that consistency and being able to hit the same lap time every time.
Yeah, maybe. I only found that consistency like about 10 minutes before qualifying.
Yep.
So that was a bit shitty. Like before that, I was practicing earlier on, and I was just setting 1:19.7 with race fuel, and it was just slow, and I was like, oh no, this is gonna be a bad evening.
Yeah.
And then like right 10 minutes before qualifying, I managed to both find a bit more pace, like 3 or 4 tenths, and then also took away a lot of fuel, which eventually ended up giving me a 1:18.4, I think, just about.
Yeah, so all coming together as it always does, just on the very last minute. Fantastic to hear, and hopefully we'll see you next time out fighting at the sharp end of the grid.
Yeah, and hopefully without any incidents.
Yeah, well, there's incidents. It's all about keeping out of them rather than hoping that they don't happen, because there's always going to be someone that wants to go for an aggressive move.
Yeah, true.
There you go. There you go. Defensive driver of the evening, Tim Einsmer. You have a lovely evening, and we'll see you next time out.
Yeah, thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye. And lastly, we have Danny Fernandez, who will be joining us in the comm box. Danny,
Hi.
talk us through your evening. An evening of ups and downs, and you seem to have all the roundabouts as well. It was
Yeah. The first race I was side by side with Alex. Well, I tried to do a move on the third corner, and I dodged him, so I let him pass in the last part of the race. I don't think there's any more else to say about that. And the second race was a mess. I think I did a very good race, but I was hit like 3 or 4 times. I don't know what to say, to be honest.
no. You managed to take the fastest lap of the race in race 2 by a few tenths of a second. And when I say that was Purcell, who was a few seconds ahead of you, was consistently doing a slower time than you. So you were pulling out all the stops through that race too. Don't take anything away from yourself. Whatever happened, I think that you should be glad. You should be happy with the result. Fourth, you would have been pushing it for third, and that's if Tim had been, let's say, forgiving with any attacks. But that was a really good display. It was enjoyable watching you trying to push up, and I think you should really give yourself a pat on the back. Try not to be too down on yourself, because there wasn't a lot more that you could have given to get further up the field there.
No, I'm very happy about the race. The only part I'm not happy is the dodge with Alex.
Of course.
I'm seeing the replay now, and it was very slight, but well, I let him pass, so that's it.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think it was my fault.
And that was very gracious as well. You are teammates. It happens between teammates. There was no reason for you, as far as the regulations are concerned, for you to really do that. But it's a very gracious move from teammate to teammate, and it's good to see that friendliness go in your paddock, because it's very hard. It's very easy to let the competitiveness get the better of you and let it actually spoil a good relationship.
Yeah, well, if I win by taking someone out, I feel bad. I was driving and I was feeling guilty, so I was constantly looking at the times to see where he was, and when I saw he was second, I started to slow down a lot.
Excellent. Yeah, no, we did see that you kind of dropped off like a second and a half in the lap. I was like, hang on, what's happened here? Yeah, no, that explains everything.
And I almost got overtaken by
Okay.
I don't know who finished in P3
think
in
it was
the end,
okay.
but it was very close.
Yeah,
Well,
no, it really was.
It sure was entertaining, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. But a successful evening of racing. Not quite the golden hour that we saw you have last time out in Barcelona, but still some encouraging driving prowess and some good progress up the field to give you the encouragement that you can do the part, you can get the moves made on this slightly different circuit to your home track of Barcelona.
Yeah, it's very different.
Good man.
And
Good man.
I don't know. I'm having every time I go to a race, I gain a lot of pace. I don't know why.
You're just a racer.
I'm not as fast. I don't understand.
You're just a racer. You get egged on by other drivers being around you. That's what it is.
Probably.
Brilliant.
Well, I don't know. I'm being a bit unlucky on the second races.
Yeah,
I
but
hope the next time it's better.
Of course, no, that's the reverse grid. That's just you trying to get to the head of the field too quick. That's a racer thing. We all do it. But there you go. Any points arising from Sav and Mali?
Yeah, I got one. So what looked like to be a 4 out of 4 for the Spanish turned out not to be. Are you fearing any competitors now?
well, I'm always fearing competitors. The next race is Silverstone, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
You're coming on
I think
British soil.
I'm not. Yes, I think I'm not that good. I'm not as good in Silverstone, so we'll see there. But well, yes, I'm sure there are a lot of competitors. Like we saw on the evaluation race, I trained a lot for that, and I was third. So
Of course. I think that's about it. Yeah, we'll go. Cool.
yes,
Danny, thank you very much for dropping in. Thank you very much for giving us some fantastic racing tonight, and
Thank
we
you.
hope you have a lovely evening.
I will.
See you next time, mate.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
And I think that is going to conclude our evenings of entertainment. Any closing points from either you, O'Malley, or Sav?
Well, we definitely saw that changing track conditions does mix up racing, and what I really like to see is drivers actually speaking very fond of reverse grids, which surely brings us to better racing and, of course, more business for you and I, Ike.
Yes.
So, but the next time we are going to Silverstone, and it's only one race, 60-minute long. So we will not be having this reverse grid. So, but
I'm
we will
almost
have,
upset.
yeah, but we will have pit stops for sure, and we will have things to spice the evening up for us. So not to forget that we are actually coming to the British soil, and I expect the British drivers will be on the rise.
I'm
And
going to say nothing. I know better than to comment on how British drivers do on British soil. That's a bit of a sore point for our boys.
Yeah, definitely.
You said it, not me.
Absolutely. I'm taking responsibility way ahead of time for our poor British drivers ending up at the back of the field. Hopefully, I've cursed them so they'll be winning now. We'll take that. Anyway, as always, it's been a pleasure to be casting with yourself, Manny Baćo. It's been a pleasure watching Sav race as well as the coordinator. It's great to see the leadership getting right on the front lines and getting stuck in as well. I've been Ike Sky, and it has been a pleasure commentating this Apex Online Racing Assetto Corsa Formula 3 race, Season 3, Round 2 from Red Bull Ring. I encourage you all to be here at 8 o'clock next Monday, British summertime, where we will be going to Silverstone for Round 3 of our Formula 3 League. Good night, everyone.